Welcome to Skate Space, formerly known as the Skatepark Podcast. I'm Alec Beck with our trusty co-hosts here, Trevor Staples and Andre Taylor. How you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Super solid.
Great day.
All right. Well, we're stoked to get back into this. We are basically season 4 of the Skatepark Podcast. And if you are not familiar with what we do, we nerd out on skate parks, skate space, public street spots, and everything in between. We're going to be talking about everything that you can think of when it comes to skate parks. We're going to be talking about street spots, skate parks, DIY spots, skatable art, design, sustainability, activism in general, and basically how to get it done. And one person who knows how to get it done because he's been there and done it himself, Trevor Staples, tell us how you got here. How did you get into this position as the Built to Play skate park manager?
Hey. I will also add that because Alec and I are weird, we will be talking about all kinds of things that don't have anything to do with skate parks, and Andre will ring us in and make sure 100%. We stay on topic. So I'm here. So I was a skate park advocate, like many of you are. If people are watching this who are thinking about getting a skate park built, worked through the process. It took us a long time here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Took us about 7 years, which is a little longer than the average probably, but worked with the Tony Hawk Foundation along the way, used the Public Skate Park Development Guide every step. I kept it in my backpack. I still keep a hard copy in my backpack now, many years later, 10 years later. And that experience allows me to be able to help now other communities develop their own public skate parks and help municipalities and advocates. And specifically out here in Western New York and Southeast Michigan, where we have the Built to Play grants, which are pretty big grants for skate parks. So if you're out in the Detroit area, Port Huron, Rochester, Buffalo, hit me up and we'll start working on your skate park.
Sweet. Thank you, Trevor. And you mentioned it, Tony Hawk Foundation. We're now called the Skatepark Project. We had a little rebrand to help people understand what we do. And so far, so good. If you are thinking about making a skate park in your town, or maybe you're in the middle of a project, maybe you just heard the term skate space and you're curious about how this all works, you're in the right place. We are here for this. You're looking at half of the staff of the Skate Park Project, quite possibly the nerdier half of the staff who frequents skate parks as much as possible. And but we're the ones who can help you along the way.
And we need to have a poll for who's the nerdiest in the office after this is done.
Oh, for sure. There will be a poll. You as a listener or watcher can tell us who's the nerdiest about skate parks. It's going to switch. It fluctuates. But yes, I think only certain people self-identify as skate park advocates, and it takes a while to get there. I think most people are like, oh, maybe I'll call the parks department, just see what's up, have a conversation, see what's going on. And then only years later, when you're more comfortable with being that person in your community, you're like, I guess I'm a skate park advocate. I guess that's a thing. But Anybody can be that, right? You don't have to be the one who leads it. You can be the one who brings it to the person who might lead it, as long as you know where to go. And where to go is skatepark.org. If you're curious about how to get...
Alex, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because I always do. The way you'll know when you're the skate park advocate for your community is when someone walks up to you and goes, hey, you're the skate park guy or gal. And then you'll be like, oh, dang, I'm known as now.
Yeah, that's it for sure.
I have a question. Do you have to have previous government experience?
Good question. I had none. A little bit of political stuff in my past, protests and things like that. But what was one of the best things about this process was learning how my city works and the city government. And
so you learned along the way?
Oh my God, it was great. And all these things I've learned working with the city. And notice I say working with the city, not fighting the city. It's working with the city to get this project built for the community. Is now that I've done that, I know how the city works, how the city government works, and it just helps me understand everything in the city. And if there's another project, whether it's a dog park or whatever, I know how to go about doing that and organizing people to make that happen. So good question.
It's amazing.
No experience necessary.
Yeah, so you came in fresh-faced, no real experience, and decided to get something done, and now there's a concrete monument to that ambition that's going to last for 30 years.
And now look at me.
You look great, Trevor. But this is a great point, right? Civic engagement. What happens when you walk into a situation, you're like, we have nowhere to skate. Can you help us out? You start these conversations and you figure out what they need and you start to work towards that. You work with them together. Like you said, Trevor, there's this usually a contentious relationship with skaters, BMXers, and local law enforcement, property owners. I mean, Andre, how many times have you been kicked out of a skate spot?
I've had my fair share.
Right.
I tend to stick to the parks, but that's because our communities have skate parks for the most part.
Yeah.
Right. And that's if you have a skate park, you're going to want to go there because you're not getting hassled. You're not getting, imagine trying to learn how to play baseball and somebody kept running up to you and yelling at you and, taking your bat, confiscating your bat. What's funny is that there used to be no stickball signs before baseball fields were grandfathered into, or grandparented into existence. They were playing ball in the street and it was unsafe and they had no stickball signs up all over town. And I think that we're, as action sports or skateboarding, we're kind of graduating through that now a little bit. We're going from, hey, we don't get this. You guys are hoodlums. Cut it out. Go find a real job. To, wow, this is an actual thing. Maybe we should start to support this. So we're going to start to see more of a shift in support. The majority of skatepark projects are led by community volunteers. And I think that'll still happen. You need the community volunteers, even though the Olympics will happen and skateboarding is going to be included in the Olympics this year in Tokyo. And there's a good chance that a lot of municipalities will see that and say, wow, we should, we need a skate park. But they're going to need your help because it's really easy to make a terrible skate park if you don't have the right type of support from the local skaters. And there's a lot of little steps that I don't want to make it sound like it's too hard, but advocacy isn't really for the faint of heart. It takes the same type of gumption that you have to learn how to skate. You're going to fall. You're going to trip over yourself. You're going to have to get back up, try it again. But speaking
if you listen to our Skatepark 101, then you'll learn all about that process.
That's right. Skatepark 101 available on a YouTube near you. Yeah, go to YouTube, type in Skatepark 101. We're going to do a group Skatepark 101 that's probably going to be much better, but it's going to walk you through the front to back of how to generate a skate park and viable skate park project in your town. And if you're serious about this at all, watch that episode. Email us at contact@skatepark.org to get some technical assistance. A good page to start at is skatepark.org/start. That has links to the podcast. It has links to the public skate park development guide, which Trevor was talking about. That book is invaluable for a skate park nerd, somebody who wants to help get more skate space. And even if you just want to say, hey, we have these two ledges, everybody skates them, it's at a public park, why can't we just turn this into a skate park? You can do that. It happens. We can help you with that as well. So lots of nerdy stuff going on, that's for sure. But Andre, I wanted to check in with you. You are the newest member of the team. You've been skating skate parks and helping out at skate parks for years. How did you get into the skate park project?
Started out here volunteering. It's really rad just seeing like the benefit of skateboarding, and I wanted to be a part of that. And I saw the Skatepark Project as like the flagship for that. I joined that and then got started. And then I don't know, it's kind of history. I'm here now.
Right.
For the better, hopefully.
That's awesome.
So
We're super stoked.
Andre, I've been here. I've been with the Skatepark Project for about 3 years now. And I remember the first time I came to, did I just?
No, you're good. I'm just, we're shining the spotlight on you for the moment.
Oh, because I can't see you guys anymore. Anyway,
no, we're still here.
This is weird. Anyway, so Andre, one of the first times I came out there and came to the office with Tony's ramp and everything, it was like, whoa. And I'm like, I'm really here in this place. And then I'm out there working on what do they call it out there? The hawk's nest or something next to the ramp.
Yeah,
there's
sure.
a little
The perch.
table there.
Yeah.
The perch.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm working, and then all of a sudden, like, there's Tony Hawk and Steve Caballero doing an ad or something out there, and I'm just sitting there watching them, and my mind is blown, right? So how did it feel when you first came in there and started, you hear the ramp in the background, you walk out of the office and look over behind you there. What's that like? Because a lot of people ask me, like, what's it like? And I go, well, I'm in Michigan and I sit in my office. No. But tell me a little bit about how you feel about being out there, because it's super cool, right?
It's super rad. Every single day, walk up the stairs and there's just lots of cool things. There's boards on the wall. Of course, you see the ramp, and you see some rad folks skating. I know you know Andy Mack. He skates the ramp quite frequently. Just really cool to be a part of that space and know, wow, there's such a really rad squad here, creating a good community for skate parks.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, we're lucky to have you, and it's been a joy to watch you dive into learning about everything you can with advocacy and correcting us where we need to stay in shape here. And it's been a fun journey so far. And
I love that we can send out the tentacles and bring in these advocates who just become a part of the collective, the Skatepark Project collective, right, across the country, which is awesome.
Absolutely,
the nerd
yeah,
squad.
For sure. We have there's so many legendary people who stepped up in their community, and now for us, they're kind of household names. You got Terry Burke Iserling in Lakeside, you got Kyle Little in Portage, Wisconsin. There's so many people out there that are, even Travis Acoin in Hawaii, he's working on a project out there, and he's one of our recurring donors to the Skatepark Project to help us help people get skate parks built. And it's cool. We get to know these people, and we'll get to know you if you want to start a skate park project in your town. But remember, you don't need to have any experience with this. You can learn along the way. And that's kind of the beauty, is that, none of us had a civic engagement experience before this, but now we understand that you 100% have the right to speak up for your community and to kind of work with the government. They're going to be happy to work with you most of the time, and you're going to help them understand the value of the space and take every step and move forward in that direction. It's exciting stuff. Civic engagement is super empowering. It's an act of democracy. You get to stand up and speak up. And in a day and age where it's very important to be aware of your governmental surroundings and the way that your community works, civic engagement is an incredibly valuable tool. So things like the Public Skate Park Guide and the other resources we have here, the Skatepark Project, will help you move along in that process and turn yelling, not so great, contentious relationship between skaters and the city and turn it into a collaborative effort that results in a capital improvement project that supports the community for decades. Yeah. Anyway, very cool stuff. Super nerdy, that's for sure. But when we say nerdy, it's all the right way. You're making skate parks happen. And like Trevor said, you're going to be the skate park gal or the skate park guy. It's not that hard to do. It does take a little bit of time. It's usually going to take a couple of years, but a little volunteer time, maybe every week or two, at least for a couple of years. And suddenly you have a skate park in your town.
And our public skate park development guide is great to have with you all the time. And then the three of us that you see on the screen are available, every day of the week to help you out. Well, not weekends. So don't call us on the weekend. You can call me on the weekend. I just work whenever. These guys have a tight 9 to 5.
We do have a 9 to 5. We'll come in early. Today we tried to come in early, but we didn't quite make the cutoff to leave before the rest of the office got in. But yeah, this is an extra bit of stuff that you throw on to your daily life, and it's super empowering. You're going to walk away with a huge new network with some new skills and learn that you really can make a change in your community. For me personally, I got into this space from being an advocate in a little Boys and Girls Club skate park in Southern California. It was the only skate park in LA at the time, and it got shut down, and we tried to save it. It didn't work. But that was the first foray into that. And then, 10 years later, we had an opportunity to try to get skaters away from the courthouse. I'll tell you why there's some irony in that later, but that led to Stoner Park and then later the legalization of the West LA courthouse. But never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that you could work with the city and they would help make a skate park. So really cool stuff. Let's talk about what we're going to get into on this podcast, on the show.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about civic engagement like we talked about. We're going to talk about focus and misinformation. There's a fun story I'll share on the next episode where somebody tried to trick our entire skate group into disrupting a city council meeting by saying that there was going to be this big skate event, a totally radical skate event that they made up. So
I fell for that.
I almost did. But there were clues in the flyers they made. And that's what makes it extra fun, because you can tell when it was like a fellow kids thing. Like, would you like to rip it up with your favorite skateboard professional? It was pretty bad, but very funny. The point being, there are going to be people who might try to steer you away from your path or try to get in your way. But, having a kind of calm demeanor and understanding how to save face in a meeting when somebody says something that's pretty offensive about the value of skateboarding or anything like that, understanding how to stay focused and move through that will be helpful. We'll also be talking about how to deal with post-opening stuff, how to deal with sound pollution concerns, your social media, your project's website, how to get good in-kind donations, reclaiming the space. What else we got here? Zombie projects that have died on the
one thing I'm excited about is the Olympics and what's going to happen with that. So we'll have an episode about that, and stoked that Alec is going to be on the coattails of Amelia going off to the Olympics, which is great.
Aren't she coaching now?
Alec is going to the Olympics. I would have accepted that, but that's not the whole truth. My wife, Amelia Brodka, is competing in the Olympics for women's park skating, and super cool. She's worked. She's a talented skater, and she's worked forever to help elevate women's skateboarding, the competitive lens on women's skateboarding. And I don't think we would be in this cycle, this Olympic cycle, if it weren't for the hard work that people put into really showcasing competitive skateboarding. Her part comes out today. Her new pro part comes out today. Go check it out, Amelia Brodka. But that type of activism, we're talking about skate park hardscape, built environment activism here. There's other types of activism in that case, in terms of elevating certain groups, elevating the competitive aspect, or helping athletes get the right support that they need when when they're throwing an art / lifestyle / sport like skateboarding into the Olympics. They need representation, and that's kind of what this comes down to, right? You want to represent your local BMX community or your local skate community, your local roller skating club. But I think that
even after the skate park is built, the advocates are still needed to help with, programming and managing the skate park to make sure everything runs smoothly, and maybe even to help, people who might not necessarily have been interested in skateboarding before or felt part of it, to welcome them to the skate park and make it, a place where everyone can feel comfortable.
100%.
So that's going to be important too. Even if you're watching this and you have a skate park already, that might be something you're working towards, and we can give some input on that too.
Sure. Yeah, we've all been in that place where we see the kids are getting a little too rowdy at the skate park, or you need to step up and talk about a policy. Just for the record, the skate parks that we're talking about are public, unsupervised, free, concrete, usually outdoor, right? That's the current staple for skate parks. We're not talking about prefab. We're not talking about, indoor pay to play. We're talking about the free, fully accessible, designed with community input type of skate park that is, that's the new standard. That's the new contemporary skate park, which is really exciting. To put it in perspective, the Tony Hawk Foundation / the Skatepark Project stopped giving grants to anything but concrete skate parks a decade ago. 10 years ago was the last time we gave any money to a skate park that wasn't made out of concrete. So go to skatepark.org/start. You can learn about all of the elements that need to go into a successful skate park. But we'll be talking about all this stuff. We'll be talking about how to deal with private land, replacing a prefab park. That's pretty common. These things start to deteriorate, and you want to know how to work with the city and move along. That's actually a pretty good place to be, because they know the value of the space, but concrete is going to be even more valuable than the prefab space that's already there, because it's going to be more attractive. It's designed for a more contemporary user base. There's less sound pollution, et cetera. We'll talk about the new design of skate parks, making them inclusive and accessible, and everything in between. Speaking of capacity and flow, things like that. And lots of other stuff here. Covered public skate parks. That's a good one. How to make your skate park video. All of this stuff is going to be on the docket. Now, what do we need from you as an audience? We're going to need our advocates out there and our random skaters to send us skate park advocacy stories. You can email us at skatespace@skatepark.org. That's the email for this podcast and show. Send us your skate park advocacy stories. If you want to record an audio clip or a video clip and send it to us, if it's under 2 minutes, we will likely play it and either answer a question or comment on your situation. You can call in with your questions. And we're also going to be doing a single obstacle design contest throughout the year. So if you want to send something in, like, hey, I really want to see something that looks like this, sketch it out, send it to us. We know a lot of the professional designers out there. So if you're one of the top skate park designers in the country and you send in a full CAD rendering, we're going to be like, you know what? You have a leg up on everybody else. So this is for everybody who wants to throw in something new. Andre, if you were to design a skate park obstacle, just something right now that you would want to go skate, what would it be?
Full pipe.
Full pipe, right in there. I love it. Right, full.
Yeah, no, just the essentials for sure. Flat bar, quarter pipe, a little bit of everything, something inclusive.
Nice.
If I feel like skating switch, or a beginner, or you can skate your transition, whatever.
Right.
All of it.
Love it.
That's you guys talk about those unique features. The Flint, Michigan DIY pops into my head because it's known as Vehicle City. The Motor City is Detroit and the Vehicle City is Flint. And they have in their DIY, they have a Chevy S10 that has been encased in concrete. And so it's skatable, but you can totally see that it's a Chevy S10 there in the skate park.
That's amazing.
We're flying out this weekend.
Yeah, for real. You don't tell the two nerdiest car skate park guys in the world that there's a skate park with a car built in. We were down at Chicano Park a couple of weeks ago and skated that concrete Monte Carlo down there. I'm back in this. I'm back in the skate, throwing a car into the skate park as long as it's going to be permanent. It reminds you of the old European contest days where we're going to throw a car in the middle and put a bunch of pyramids and launch ramps on the side. Good times. All right. We're going to be doing some segments as well, some remotes. We're going to share the story behind America's largest skate park. Des Moines, Iowa just opened up. That place is incredible. We're going to go into that. We did an event. We showed up to an event with Skatepark Respect. We've done a couple events with Black Girls Skate. There's a new Chandler Park in Detroit, Trevor, that you're going to be showing us.
The Chandler Park Skate Park. Yep. That's under construction right now. That's going to be sweet.
Exciting stuff. Oh, and Andre, you mentioned this morning.
By August, I think. Yeah.
Skatable by August. That's exciting.
Yep.
Detroit's killing it. Andre, you mentioned this morning that one of our grantees just got their design in. Who was that?
Spoke to William Boyer, really killer advocate from Hagerstown, Maryland. He let us know that the designs came out, and those came out yesterday.
This is their design?
Ooh,
and that thing looks
that's
fun.
it.
So for our
pump track, bowl, got the ledge, essentials, flat bar.
Wow, what's that crazy thing? That crazy sculpture up there?
Yeah, it's a good question.
That is wild.
Giant. Yeah, that's really cool. A lot of interesting
somebody's going to drop in on this
one. For sure, somebody will drop in on that.
It's going to be wild.
We'll put these images in the description in the podcast. But really cool job, really cool design so far. Nice work, Hagerstown.
I want Andre to do a trick tip for doing a blunt on that top of that sculpture.
30 feet in the air. He could do it. I wouldn't put it past him. Andre is an all-terrain killer.
In the video game.
3 mile run up.
Right. We've seen you skate in person. And we will be also having some guests on this show. We're going to have successful advocates. We're going to have lawmakers, social scientists, doctors, designers, pro skaters, action sports athletes from all around the world, and you. We're going to talk to you about your project. So feel free to let us know where your project is, and we'll hop in and talk about it. And you can find more info, like I said, skatepark.org/start, publicskateparkguide.org. We have older podcast episodes on our start page. There's a Skatepark 101 on YouTube. And of course, you can hit us up at contact@skatepark.org. You will hit one of the three of us. You can ask us questions about your park and get busy in this process. We have a couple donors we want to thank. You can support the Skatepark Project. Again, we offer technical assistance to over 100 communities around the country and world every month. And we've been doing this for 18 years now, basically 18 years. And
we're legal.
500. What's that?
We're legal.
We're legal, right? We're adults.
Fireworks.
Yeah, we can buy fireworks. Finally, we made it. All that work.
That's exactly what I meant by being legal, is buying fireworks.
Right. You can walk into yeah, there are things. Let's stick with
and you can
fireworks.
vote. We can vote now. We can vote.
Right. We can
Crucial.
vote. That's probably the most important thing. So
all right, but dear listener, you'll notice that Alec and Andre are going to need a big giant hook to pull me off screen when I goof around too much. So
you know what? We all have the goofy bones in us, so it's going to be a wild ride. That's for sure. So, like I said, we've granted $10.5 million to 647 communities around the country, and 592 of those skate parks are now open. You can be one of these people to make these skate parks, get a grant from us, do all the work to really change your community. Not if you've ever been in a community that doesn't have a skate park, there's still a scene there usually, but it goes a long way to build a skate park. Trevor, how did it feel to see Ann Arbor happen? How did it feel to see that skate park exist after it did not exist?
So at first it was just everyone was dumbfounded that we actually have a skate park here now. And now, so it's been open 7 years now. Skateboarding is part of the culture here now more. Like there were skaters here before, like you said, there was a scene here and everything. But now it's like every family member in every household knows that skateboarding is a part of our town. That's just what we do.
That's awesome.
You know? And so that's what happens when you build a decent skate park in your community.
That's beautiful. So what does that mean to know that skateboarding is accessible in your town? What has skateboarding done for you?
For me personally?
Yeah, for you personally.
Got me a job. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? That does happen. I know how lucky I am with that.
No, skateboarding, man. So one thing is it's helped me make lifelong friends. So right now in the other room in my house here is my friend Rick from Montana. He is one of my oldest friends. I met him when I was probably around 20 years old. I'm 54 now, almost 54. And we're walking downtown last night in Ann Arbor, and he sees this place that used to be a restaurant, right? And he's like, hey, remember that time? And it was when we were skating down the street and the cops walked out of the pizza place right when we were riding by and grabbed him. And I escaped. And then I came back like sneaky trying to see what was going on. And the other cop knew I was going to do that and then grabbed me.
Oh my God.
But anyway, these lifelong friends we have and this connection, you know, I have so many people that I know that have this connection. You know, he was one of the groomsmen in my wedding. You know, he's a big part of my life. And we met because of skateboarding. Like back in the 80s, there were no skateboarders around. Like when you saw a skateboarder, you were like, we're friends now. And that's what happened with me and Rick and some other people. They were from Toledo and they would come up to Ann Arbor to skate. And instantly we were friends because we were riding skateboards, you know?
Right.
And so for me, a big part of it is making those lifelong friends, but also it's a way to connect with people of every age. I know some guys who are like 70. I know kids who are 6 years old, and we all have something we can connect on, especially at the skate park, right?
Right.
But in general, when I meet people, if we have skateboarding in common, then we're able to connect on a little bit deeper level than we would if we just met each other and we don't really have anything in common. So I think for me, it's a big social thing, right? To connect people. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've had that. I felt that as well. I mean, Colin Cook, who works here with us at the Skatepark Project, is a longtime friend of mine. We started skating one day and we just kept skating together every day for the last 15 years. And funny enough, in terms of seeing somebody and having that connection with a skateboard, we were in Barcelona filming and our camera got stolen. And I was going through the streets trying to find, where the camera went, and saw this young 10-year-old. I was 20 something and saw a 10-year-old skating the other way. He's clearly a local. We didn't speak the same language, and he gave me a nod and a smile, and I got a nod and a smile. And I was like, wow, this really like I don't know, something about it, this connection, right? And the USC study that we helped fund recently kind of went into an ethnographical approach to figure out what is the social emotional benefit of skateboarding and skate parks? And turns out there's quite a bit of information there, and it's they've really demonstrated that there's a lot of value from this. So you can check out the USC study on skatepark.org/start and go from there. Andre, go ahead, Trevor.
Oh, I was just going to clarify my friend Rick, because he's from Missoula, Montana. So anyone from Montana, he told me last night that there's 2 Ricks in town that skate, and one is Cool Rick and one is Dad Rick. Nice. He's Dad Rick. So I'm talking about Dad Rick, not Cool Rick.
Good to know. All right, good to know. Of the 2 Ricks in Missoula, Montana skate scene.
There he is right there. He just heard me say that.
That's awesome. So we're going to go over to Cool Andre now. Andre, what has skateboarding done for you?
So much. Made so many friends. Definitely before I even worked here, I knew of you guys just once removed from somebody who knew you guys. So right. That's how much skateboarding connects you with other folks. Everybody I know skates, and every one of my friends skate for the most part. And it's really cool because you can just continue to make more friends. You go to the park, there's some friends there.
Right. So Andre, you're telling us that you're the Kevin Bacon of skateboarding. So
yeah,
every skateboarder has 6 degrees of separation from you, I think, right?
I think that's probably true.
Something like that.
Everybody knows Andre, for sure.
Research this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. There's so many things that come from this activity, surprisingly. I mean, you literally find yourself in a cauldron of persistence and resilience when you're on a skateboard. You find an obstacle, you want to go play on that, learn something new, perform something, whatever you want to call it, and you fall on your butt, you fall and fall and fall, and you get up, you try it again, and you accomplish something. And it's more meaningful to you than anybody could ever understand. And I think the people listening to this all get that. They all know that. But for some of the people who, the municipal officials who might be listening to this, that's part of our job, part of your job as advocates or as municipal officials is to understand this value, to translate it, to help people in your community get it. Because it's really hard to get it unless you experience it. But, there are tools out there to help you do this. And that's one of our goals. That's for sure. Now, let's wrap this up. We got a lot to do. We have a Go Skate Day live stream this weekend. And if you want to, we have this initiative going on. If you want to share a trick tip, use the hashtag GSD Trick Tips 2021. And we're just encouraging people to get out and learn and share their knowledge and enjoy the process. That's on TikTok and Instagram. Feel free to hop in there. We love seeing that stuff. Let's give a little shout out to a couple of our donors. If you want to support the Skatepark Project and help us turn funds into recreational space for youth around the country, that's a good way to do it. You can go to our website, skatepark.org/donate. Shout out to Samuel Dunham and Travis Acoin, who's also an advocate in Hawaii. I mentioned him earlier, for their recurring donations. They give us, you just set it and forget it. $5 a month goes a long way. So feel free to support our mission to help locals create public skate parks if you are so inclined. And actually, I think there are some nice goodies that you get for becoming a recurring donor. And if we wanted to break it down in a really simple way, $20 helps us help a community create around 9 or 10 square feet of concrete skate park that will last for decades. So if you're thinking about how to, kind of manage your finances when it comes to charity, in this case, you can think of, 2 lattes or 10 square feet of concrete the kids are going to use for the next couple decades. Easy answer for me, because I don't really drink coffee. But thank you for the support, everybody out there. We have a bunch of partners we need to support because we're grateful for all they do to help us keep this going. Andre, you want to lay it out?
Got a really rad list of some folks. We have the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, the Gumball 3000 Foundation, Activision, Find Your Grind Foundation, Skate One, Birdhouse, Jones Soda, Delta Airlines, Roxidicus Foundation, the Alex Levasseur Memorial Fund, Pura Vida, Dynacraft, and a special thanks to Chris Cerrone at Swell Story Media for some production.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for helping us out. And thanks to the whole team here at the Skatepark Project. We have an incredible board. We have a great staff. We're very lucky to be here, working hard to help communities get skate parks built in their community. Thanks to Mickey Vukovic and Peter Whitley for all they've done for skate parks over the years. They're on to bigger and better things now, and we can't thank them enough, along with Skaters for Public Skate Parks, for helping lay the groundwork for everything that we help teach people, and all the tricks and tips along the way, the pathway to get to your new public skate park. And thanks to you at home, advocates everywhere who are stepping up to make a difference in your community. Head to skatepark.org/start to get started. And thanks to you who are out there making your community better with a little bit more skate space. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time.
Nice.